Right viewers, welcome to 2025, January. Absolutely bitter cold. I hope you've all had a brilliant Christmas and Happy New Year. And I'd like to say a big thanks to everybody for the kind words and condolences after I lost my mum in November. I mentioned that in my last video. Big thank you to you all for that. And I don't know where 2025 is going to take us, but I've added to Fleet. Not probably what you're going to expect to see, but I've bought it anyway. I've always wanted to buy my own recovery trailer, but for how often I'd use one and how much they are, between 3 and 4 grand for a good 14-foot recovery trailer, 14-foot plus tow bar, A-frame, whatever. And I couldn't really just justify spending all that money for how often I'd use one. But I remembered years ago I once borrowed what's called a tow dolly. So over the Christmas period, between Christmas and New Year, and between Guinness and mince pies, I won one on eBay. So this is what I've bought. I've got it up on axle stands at the moment because before I start to use it I'm going to do some preliminary checks on it. Done wheel bearings and whatnot. Tyres are all spot on and in date, but it's been stood in a garden for God knows how long, so wheels are as rusty as hell. Now it's a solid axle, so there's no suspension. I picked this up from Manchester. I had to go up Woodhead Pass, which were a nightmare. It was just like snowy blizzard or Oz weather, but I managed to get it back and it towed brilliant. Apart from when I won it, I went to pick it up, bloke says I've pumped your tyres up on it, which on these is a bad mistake, because when they're empty, if they've got full pressure in tyres, they bounce about like a kangaroo with mustard on its arse, so you don't want that. When they're empty, you're supposed to drop tyres down to about 10-15 psi. When you put a load on, you pump it up, because like I say, it's a solid axle, it's a non-braked axle, but it was dirt cheap. It was only a couple £100, so I thought, well, I'll give it a go at that. I don't know if you know much about tow dollies, but all you do is you load your front wheels on and you just tow them. I have found a few issues. When I come to check wheel bearings, I took wheel nuts off, and I don't know if you can see, they've been over tightened, and they've put a ridge on. So I've ordered 8 brand new ones. They were only cheap, so I'm going to give this a right good refurb. So what happens is you put these ramps on here, they click on bike. I've got a pair of ramps, I've got a spare wheel for it, and you just drive up there. It's got a winch. If it's a non-runner, it's got a winch, and you can just drag them up, but it needs a trailer board putting on for when it's empty. And yeah, so there's a few issues with it, like everything I buy. It's cheap for a reason, usually because it's no good. But this deck is a swivel deck. So you don't put steering lock on. Oh, you do put steering lock on if you're having deck swivelling. Now this deck wants to come off and it wants a bit of work doing to it. But if you're using it as a swivel deck, you can you lock your steering. If you lock deck, which you can put a locking device in, which on this one it's wrong end. But that locks in there. If you lock it and you use it, then you don't put steering lock on car. That's right. I'm sure I've got that right way around. But if you have it swiveling, you can lock your steering, and tow dolly does all the work. Right, I'm going to leave it there for now till I've done a bit of work at it, and I'll come back to you. Like I say, it might seem like it's high off at ground, but it's because I've put it on axle stands to take wheels off and everything. This deck's got to come off because there's supposed to be a bearing in there. Bearing's collapsed and that's dropped, so I've got to sort that out. But yeah, I'm going to do a few other mods to it because I'm not really happy with something. Now, one I borrowed many moons ago, it had a stop on there coming up because you can drive on this and there's no to stop you coming too far and dropping out other end. So I'm going to fabricate some upstands to go here so that you can't drive it too far and come off other end. So right, that's where I am for now. This is going to be a one-off video. It's just going to be a one-off, so I'm going to keep patching bits into video as I do things to it. But yeah, the reason I'm buying this is when I see stuff for sale, there's nowhere in Rotherham where you can hire a trailer from. There's a place in Sheffield, but you have to book it, and by the time you've messed about booking it and finding out if they've got some available, whatever you're wanting to buy, it could have sold. So having this here, I can just chuck this straight on bike, back at car, and go and try and buy it, whatever's for sale. You know me, I buy out, could be a classic car, could be, I've got a motorbike trailer, so I'm covered that way, or it could be a this only carries up to 2 ton, 2,000 kilograms, so I could carry like what do you call it, T25 campers and things like that. I can get them on it. They actually weigh more, they weigh 2,400, but that's total weight. But because you're only carrying front wheels and using back wheels for towing, the weight limit. So yeah, that's my new toy to play with, because no else is coming up at the moment. With it being cold and winter, nobody's partying me out. So yep, that's as no purchase. So I'm going to rub it all down, paint it all up, make it look halfway decent, and it should make a nice quick project to keep me entertained until weather books up. Right, I'll see you shortly. Right viewers, just to show you what I've been up to, I've scrubbed these wheels because they were that rusty, they look like they've been on Titanic, and I've painted them up with Victan. That's Rust Killer. It's same as Cure Rust, but a different brand, same sort of stuff. I'll get them a coat of that. Done both sides. So I've done outside of these drums. They've had a rub down and a lick of Victan. Welder's art, that's not been used for a while, since T25. So there were no way for a breakaway chain to go on here, so I'm going to drill drill oil through there, put an eye bolt on, and I've got a breakaway chain off a flea bay. This is my breakaway chain. That'll fasten onto here and onto the car, just in case that fails. Very rare they do, but just in case. I'm going to have some emergency fall bike. So that's what I've got to up to now. I've got some upstand plates to make for there. I'll put them on, weld them on. That's why welders are. And yeah, right. These wheels, I've painted them with Victan, like I've said, and I'm going to put some rust inhibiting primer on, zinc 182. I'm going to put that on, and then I'm going to put a bit of silver paint on. They were painted black when I got them, but I'm never been keen of black wheels. Don't know why. So yeah, that's where I am. Oh, I've also got a couple of these. This actually stands up. When it's not in use, you can stand it up on its end and it stands on these things. But I'd like to be able to push it about. So I'm going to put a bit of something on there, put these casters on, and when I tilt it up, I can push it backwards and forwards. So that's something else I'm going to be doing, but looking at quality of these, I don't think they'll stand up to weight, to be honest with you. But worry about that when we get to it. Right, I'll see you shortly. Right, viewers, I've thrown a bit of grey primer on here. Still wet. Got a brew. Freezing today, yeah. Drake welder out her hibernation. I've cobbled a couple of upstands to stop that stop wheel coming off there. This is 5mm thick. 5mm thick angle iron. 40mm that way. 100mm that way. And they're going to stand on there. And hopefully that's going to be strong enough just to stop me being a bit over ambitious and rolling off at end when I either drive up or pull up. I've put a proper doings in here to lock that, stop it spinning. I've put a piece of adhesion on there. I'm going to bolt that on, but it's pointless bolting it up now because once I've done welding it's all going to be painted. But I'm going to put a trailer board on there because there are no board for lights and registration plate and all that carry on. So I've got a trailer board. I've just put that bit of angle on there. So now I've just got them upstands to weld on. Right, I'll get back to you once I've tightened them on. My hands are absolutely freezing, perishing in here. Right, see you shortly. Right viewers, just a quick update on Dolly, where I've got painted them wheels up, painted hubs up, painted them red just for hell of it. I've painted swivel part of it yellow so that it sticks out. I've added a couple of casters. I welded a mounting plate on bike, stuck casters on, so now I can lift it up and I can roll it about on them casters. I've welded them uprights on, like I said I was going to do, just to get wheel. Paint's still a bit wet, so I can't make about it. Put a proper pin in there. That just locks it. When it's empty, you put that locking pin in. And there's a bolt on a nut on bike. When it's paint's dried, I'm going to tip it up and weld nut on bike. So that just screws in and out. I've put a new cable on that, but I can't remember if I mentioned that in last one. I've been waiting. When I fetched it back, weather were horrendous. Because this is 8 foot wide, it sticks up wider than car. Traffic coming on, because this sticks out a foot wider than car. Traffic were that bad. This you could hardly see this. So I've got a couple of reflectors. I've been waiting for them to come. These are them. Cheap flea bay reflectors. I forget what size they are. Does it tell you on them? No, I think they were 65mm. I'm going to drill oil and I'm going to mount them reflectors there. Then when cars are coming towards me, because there's no lights on top, they'll see that and it'll warn them that I'm pulling a wide load. I've also got a new trailer board to fit. That's trailer board. There were no to mount trailer board on, so I've drilled oil there and oil there, and I've got a piece of old Dexian shelving, painted that yellow. I'm going to mount my trailer board to that, and then I've got a couple of bolts here just to mount trailer board to. So it's coming on, it's very nearly finished. Yeah, really impressed with how it's come on. Bit time I've done, I bought some new straps for it and all that carry on. Bit time I've done, it'll stand me, I reckon, about 350 quid, something like that. So if I use it once, I've got my money back out in it, because recovery companies, they charge £1 a mile each way. So if you pick something up from 100 mile away, it's 100 mile there, 100 mile back, so that's 200 quid in recovery. So a couple of recoveries and it'll have paid for itself. So yeah, I'll crack on with what I've got to do, and I'll bring you back when we're nearly finished. See you in a bit. Right, that's some reflectors mounted. That's how it stands up on them casters. That's that locking pin I've put in. I've just got to clean that up. A bit close there. Got to clean that up and weld that up. Weld that nut on, and then there should be something like right. That wants a lick of paint on it round here, but that's what underneath looks like. But the fact that it stands up on its end, that's a right big help. That it just don't take half as much room up. And like I said in the beginning of this video, reason I bought this is I just can't justify spending £2 on a 3 or 4 grand on a trailer for how often I use one, when this will do the job, providing whatever I pick up, back brakes aren't seized up on it, which is always a possibility. So yeah, so I'll fetch you back when I've welded that up. I've run out of bleeding gas, so I've got to get down, got to get into Sheffield and pick a new gas bottle up. But we'll sort that out, and I'll put that toe board on, and that should be it. Should be about finished. So I'll bring you back when it's finished, and that'll be end to this this one-off video. Right, see you shortly. Update on Dolly. We've now got trailer board on. Can't remember where we were on last bit, but we've got trailer board on. We've now welded a captive nut on there to a locking mechanism on that. So it's all about finished now. What I want to do next is on here, I want to put a couple of brackets on to hold ramps. I've changed that that cable, because when you tried to pull out with cable it just stretched like hell. So I've put I've changed that for a strap now, but that's supposed to be able to pull 3.5 ton. Now whether it can or not is a different story. But that's my latest update. So I'll come back to you when I've made some sort of locking mechanism to hold my ramps on. I were hoping to be able to come up with something to hold ramps and hold spare wheel and all, but there's just not going to be room. So I'm going to make room for them ramps, and spare wheel will just have to go in boot at car when I use it. So that's it for now. Update coming shortly for you. It'll be a while for me while I scrounge some angle iron together to make some mounting brackets. See you in a bit. Right viewers, I'm going to bring this video to an end now. I've got done what I needed to do on this tow dolly. I can't remember how far I showed you in the last video, but we've now got a trailer board on. I've made this carrying frame to put ramps on. Welded all that up. We'll stick them on. Garage is in a right angle. Looks like a bomb's gone off in it. So I've only been doing little jobs. But my son popped in yesterday and we did a couple of jobs on his Volvo C30. Bit of welding and bit of engine work. Right. So these just slip in there. Like that. Couple of eye bolts just to secure them. And that's it. Trailer's done. Well, tow dolly anyway. When I come to use it, I'll just put spare wheel in bolt at car. Yeah, so now all we want is a project to go and collect. Marvellous, isn't it? Since I've had this, I've been watching eBay and Facebook Marketplace for a project to pick up. There's been no coming up at right money. A lot of people seem to want stupid money for they call them projects and classics and one thing or another. Basically, they're old cars broke down, covered in muck, and they want to call them a future classic. Right, I'll call that an end for now. And next video will be when I go and pick some up. I don't know what it'll be. Whatever comes up cheap on Facebook Marketplace, whether it be a camper van or a van or classic car, motorbike, could be all. So thanks for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed this one-off video. It's been a bit misjointed, but I've had to wait for bits coming to convert this, to get it to. I mean, it worked great from word go, but I just wanted to get it to my liking. So thanks for sticking with me. Thanks to all my subscribers, new and old, and I hope you stick with me for my next collection caper when we get to use this dolly. See you later.